So here we have slope, and slope of a line is going to be your ratio of the change in your y coordinates to your change in the x coordinates. You can tell, and this is like your rise over your run. Remember, I don't know if you've learned about this in chemistry or not, but if you have this little triangle out in front of your y or your x, that's called a delta. So this is called a delta. So that really means, what that means is like a change in y and a change in your x. So if you want to look at your slope, well, you're changing your y in this case, it goes from 4 to 1, that's a 3. But then here is a 2, that's your change here. But also keep in mind that it is lines going down from left to right, so it is negative. So let's go over to our example 3. And here's where you have to use the formula. M is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And we're going to use this formula, and I'm going to use it just a couple times on here so we can not waste all your valuable and precious time that you have. So let's look at for A here. This is our x sub 1, our y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. That's our first x, first y, second x, second y. And we're going to plug them into our formula up here. So we're going to say m is equal to your 5 minus 3 all over 2 minus negative 4. And when we simplify this, 5 minus 3, well, that's just a 2. On the bottom, 2 minus a negative 4, that really becomes a plus. So 2 plus 4 gives you a 6. 2 over 6 gives you a 1/3. So your slope in this case is going to be a 1/3. Alright, so you can do the same thing on B, and you can simplify B, even though you have a fraction. But I'm going to show you letter C here. We're going to find our slope, and you're going to take your second y minus your first y. So don't lose track of your negatives. It's very important that you still have 5 minus a negative 6. And then you have 2 minus 2. So 5 minus a negative 6, that really means 5 plus 6. That gives you an 11 over... dun dun dun, 0. If you have a 0 underneath your fraction, then that means it is undefined. Underneath, undefined. Do not forget that, my friends. And you can't leave it as an 11 over 0. You must actually write the word undefined. Alright, now, if you get, say you're to flip that around, you actually get a 0 on the top. So for example D, if you find your slope here, you take a negative 7 minus negative 7, you're going to get a 0 on top. Well, if you have a 0 on top, that's okay. What that's going to give you is just a 0, and you do need to simplify that. So even though it's a 0 over 1.5, you need to make that a 0 and put a box around it. So that is how you find slope using your formula. Hopefully you remember how to do that from Algebra 1. Boom.